Okay, so are you ready to dive into something really bizarre with me today?
I am always ready for a deep dive. You know that?
Well, good, because we are talking fish.
Fish.
Yeah, fish mimicking human political behavior.
Okay, now that sounds interesting.
It is, trust me. So, our source material is this research paper on this brand new species.
Oh, wow, a new species.
Yeah, and get this, they discovered it in the Rio Grande.
The Rio Grande, huh? You don't hear that every day? What kind of fish we talking about here?
Well, let me tell you, the researchers did not hold back when they named it, okay? They named it Pisces trumpus.
Pisces trumpus.
Really?
It seems like they knew it would get people talking.
Oh, they knew. They knew
Well, it's
it.
definitely a memorable name, but honestly, it is the science here that I think is really fascinating. Observing animal behavior, I mean, even in a setting that seems, I don't know, kind of normal like the Rio Grande,
Yeah.
it can offer us a fresh lens, a new way of looking at how social patterns emerge.
Yeah.
And in this case, well, it seems these fish, they might be reflecting some dynamics that are uncomfortably familiar to us, even down to leadership styles.
So true.
It really makes you think.
It really does. So, all right, set the scene for us. Okay. We have got the Rio Grande, not exactly the first place that comes to mind
Right?
when you think about groundbreaking behavioral studies.
It's true.
So, what makes this environment, I don't know, so unique for this kind of discovery?
That's part of what makes this so interesting. It reminds us that, even in the most unexpected places, like
Mhm.
in nature, we can find insights into our own complex social structures.
Sure.
And the Rio Grande, which, is home to this very diverse ecosystem,
Right.
but it's under constant pressure.
Yeah.
It's forcing all the different species to adapt and compete with each other for limited resources.
So it's like a pressure cooker.
Yes, exactly. And that pressure creates this kind of natural laboratory where you can observe how social hierarchies and all these strategies develop over time.
And that brings us back to, of course, our friend Pisces Trumpus,
Right.
who seems to be, I don't know, leading the pack with what we'll call an unconventional approach.
Unconventional is one way to put it.
So tell us more about what makes this fish so, I don't know, special, aside from, of course, the headline-grabbing name.
Well, like I said before, the researchers had a little fun with the name.
Oh, yeah.
But seriously, they describe P. trumpus as having these bright, almost shockingly orange scales. And get this, as this tuft on its head.
Wait, seriously? They named a fish with, like, a combo ver after. Well,
Yeah.
what were these researchers thinking?
I have no idea what was going on in their heads.
Seriously.
But in all seriousness, it was the fish's behavior that really stood out to them,
Mm-hmm.
particularly how it interacts with the other species in the Rio Grande.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Right.
What kind of behaviors are we talking about here?
Right.
Because I have to admit, the whole idea of a fish mimicking human political behavior makes me think of these, like, tiny little underwater rallies.
Underwater rallies?
Yeah, or like little fish-sized protest signs. It's a funny thought.
Yeah, well, not quite that dramatic.
Oh, okay.
But what they observed is actually this intriguing pattern of behavior. That's eerily similar to some human social and, dare I say, political strategies.
Oh, yeah.
And it all centers around P. trumpus's peculiar habit of, well, building walls.
Hold on. Walls. Like actual physical barriers in the middle of a river.
Yep.
That seems a little, I don't know, counterintuitive, even for a fish.
You think so, wouldn't you?
Building walls in a river. See, now you've got me interested. I got to ask, what are these walls made of? And what is the purpose? It's a river. It's not like they're, sectioning off a condo.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so interesting. They use, according to the research, they're gathering up debris,
Okay.
pebbles, twigs, even little bits of algae, and they're using it to construct these little barriers.
Right.
But here's the thing. The walls, they don't really do anything like in terms of habitat or defense. Really?
No way.
Yeah, other fish can just swim around them.
So weird.
And they don't really offer protection from any predators either.
So it's not about actual security then. It's more about, like they're trying to make it look like they have a secure border or something.
It's giving very much that.
This is too real.
They're getting it. This is it. The researchers think these barriers they're symbolic.
Oh, wow.
It's a way for them to, like, project this, like, this is my territory,
Oh, interesting.
establish a sense of control, maybe even intimidate the other species. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's hard not to see the, the parallels to certain human
Oh,
behaviors,
for sure.
particularly in politics.
Especially in politics. It's like
Yeah.
when politicians make these symbolic gestures or
All
policies,
right.
and they don't actually address the root of the problem.
It's all about the optics.
Exactly. It's all about, like, making it look like they're doing something, but in reality, nothing changes.
Appealing to a certain audience, you know how it is.
So true.
But what's even more interesting is how the other fish respond to this behavior.
Okay, yeah, tell me about the followers. Are they just blindly following, or is there something else going on?
Yeah, that is the question, isn't it? And it brings us into, the realm of social psychology, even in fish.
Wow.
So these followers, they're called PC sagillatus.
Okay.
They're often seen mimicking P. trumpus.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep, like building the walls, too?
Yeah, helping to patrol the barriers.
Get out of here.
Yeah, they even adopt the same aggressive posture and like territorial displays,
No.
even though, as we've said, the walls are basically useless.
That is wild. So what is driving that then? Like, do they actually, I don't know, do they look up to this fish?
Who knows?
Or is there like a fear thing?
It could be.
Or are they just trying to fit in?
I didn't-
Even if it means they're going along with something completely irrational.
And that's what I think makes this study so interesting. It's like it's giving us more questions than answers, but it really lets us glimpse into these complex social dynamics and leadership, maybe even like, I don't know, the evolutionary basis of conformity in a way.
I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah, and what's even more, what we found that was interesting is that there seems to be a cost to going against this whole system, even in the fish world.
You mean besides the risk of getting a splinter from a twig? Come on, there's got to be more to it than that. What are the downsides if you're a fish and you decide to, go your own way?
Well, so what they found is that not every fish in the Rio Grande is buying into this whole thing.
Oh, really?
Some species actually go to pretty crazy lengths to avoid P. trumpus and his little crew.
Like what? How do they do that?
They're changing their normal routes, their feeding patterns.
Really? Just to avoid them.
They're spending more energy just to, like, steer clear.
So it's like they're taking the long way around the grocery store just because they don't want to run into someone they know. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it really makes you wonder, what is the cost of that avoidance?
Yeah.
Are they putting themselves at a disadvantage in other ways just to, not have to deal with P. trumpus?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
and here's where it gets really interesting, okay? The study also found that some fish do what's called temporary integration.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that. Temporary integration. That sounds more like, I don't know, some kind of office jargon than a fish survival tactics.
I know, right? But it's actually really fascinating. What they're doing is when they can't avoid P. trumpus and the followers, they'll temporarily start acting like the group.
Get out of here.
They'll hang out like around the edges of the territory.
So they're just like playing along to get by.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a classic example of social conformity.
Wow. Makes you think about like how often we do the same thing,
Oh, it's a little
Like when is it worth it to speak up even if it might, cause some problems?
Yeah.
Versus just going along to get along.
It's a tough balance.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've got this fish, this leader, the followers, and then all the other fish trying to just like live their lives, right? What does it all mean, though?
Well, I think it gives us a new way to think about leadership, conformity,
Yeah.
and even how these like small behaviors can have a big impact on a whole system.
It's true. It's like a ripple effect.
This-
Who knew we could learn so much from a fish that, builds walls in a river?
It just goes to show nature is full of surprises.
It really is. And that's it for today's deep dive into Pisces trumpus, the fish that's making us rethink what we thought we knew about, well, everything.